Welcome back, everybody. Today we are talking about the Saint Edge pistol from Springfield Armory. All right, so if you have not seen my video on the St. Victor rifle, I'll leave those linked down below for you. I got well over 5,000 rounds for that thing. Turned out to be really solid. So I wanted to test out some of their pistols. And I was kind of interested in that Maxim brace because I've never owned one. So I reached out to Springfield and they were cool enough to send this specific one out for testing, which is a test model, and it's been through a lot of hands and you can tell it's got a lot of rounds through it. And I put a couple hundred more through it myself for the testing process, just to kind of get a feel for the difference in the Edge series, which has a different machine lower. It's not the forged, this is a billet machine version. So there are some differences as compared to the St. Victor series, which is why I wanted to test these out. All right, let's go ahead and get into the basic overall specs of the Saint Edge in the pistol configuration. So it's gonna have that Maxim defense brace right there, which is operated by the levers right there to collapse it, but you can just pull it straight out should you so desire. Collapse it, and then it's got the rods that go on the side right there. So 7075 T6 aluminum lower right there. You can see it's got some very nice machine work in there. Integral trigger guard. We have the Bravo grip on there. Good looking setup. So Springfield does do a little bit kind of bigger logos on their stuff. And there's multiple ones of them. So there are a couple logos obviously on the side, and then the Saint Edge over here, which is pretty typical for the Springfield brand. We do get the ambi safety here. It is a full 90-degree safety right there. So I'm a 60, or excuse me, a 45 kind of guy rather than the 90, and that's just what I like. Basic controls on the bolt release right there, and then basic control on the mag release on this side. You see we do have that NP3 coated flat face trigger in this one. We will do some pulls here in just a second. Got kind of a different than mil-spec charging handle. It's got a much larger kind of gripped end on it right there. It's nice. I do wish it was ambi, but it is what it is. Looks a lot better than a traditional mil-spec version though. So give it to them there. They kind of went for a little bit more of looks on this thing. Pretty standard rail from them. It's M-LOK pretty much all the way around. It does come with the hand stop there. The one difference in this and a lot of other rails is it's slick across the top right here. You cannot affix anything to it. And it's just got a small section of that rail up front for like a sight if you want to put one on there. And then like I said, the hand stop, we do have a bird cage finishing off that barrel. It is a chromoly 4150 chromoly vanadium barrel in there. This one is a 1 in 7 twist rate. It is melanite treated and coated. So let's go ahead and we will do some pulls on this thing real quick so you guys can get an idea of where this thing is performing, because it's a little bit better than a traditional mil-spec trigger. All right. So that one right there broke just under 5 pounds, so about 4 pounds and 14 ounces. We'll do 3 pulls just to kind of give a good baseline here. I'll try and pull from the same spot every time, although I think that was a little weird right there. It's kind of hard because I almost hit the back of the brace each time I do this. So right there, almost exactly the same place, 4 pounds and about 14 ounces. We'll do one more, and unless we get something really weird, we will call it a day for that. So that one, again, almost exactly the same spot, maybe an ounce or so more. Not bad for a standard mil-spec trigger, although this thing has a really good amount of rounds through it, because like I said, this is a loaner. So this has been loaned out to a bunch of different people to do reviews on. So now that you kind of guys know what this stuff is on here, what it comes with, the options, all that, let's talk about how this thing performed, any issues, the price. Would I change anything on this thing? Because I think I would change a few things. All right, so now you know what it's all about as far as the parts go. Let's talk about things I like and don't like, and we're gonna start with a couple things that I don't like first. I thought I would like it, but the brace. So this thing is specifically on the ends right there, absolute knuckle buster. So if you go to work your charging handle every time I did, I just seemed to catch my hand right here, especially if I came like this with my fingers, I'd catch my knuckle on that part of the Maxim Defense brace. Most of the times I run an SBA3. I was interested in trying this one. It's just anytime you get something fatter than the rear receiver right here, even if it's like a sling attachment point, it always turns into a knuckle buster. So that's one thing that I would say probably for me, I would go a different route, probably because of the size of my hands. Now, the other thing that I did notice about this as compared to my St. Victor rifle was it's just not as tight. And that's probably because it's a different machine lower and everything. It just doesn't quite have that tightness to it between the upper and the lower receiver that the St. Victor rifle series did. So that's just something that caught my eye. All right, so now that stuff is all out of the way, let's talk about the good things here. One, I like the fact that it comes with the hand stop right there, especially being that it's a shorter barrel. This is the 10.3. They have a PDW version that's got a much shorter barrel on it. They have several different versions of this. I'm a fan of their rail. It's nice because you can get your hand all the way around it and hold on to it. I definitely like the flat triggers here. They are still mil-spec style triggers, but they feel a lot better, at least to me, than the standard curved triggers. And you saw how they performed on that pull test. Overall, the thing is definitely a looker with all that nice kind of machine work in it, that integral trigger guard. It's got the looks category, just a basic mil-spec looking lower and upper. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about how this thing performed on the range. So I only put a couple hundred rounds through this thing because, like I said, this is a tester. It's been sent out to multiple people and it has definitely had a train run on this thing. So putting a couple hundred rounds through it, it performed exactly as what I would expect. That 9310 bolt and carrier in there did its job, didn't have any problems there. The recoil was exactly what you're going to expect out of something with a barrel this short, shooting 5.56, 223. You're gonna get a little bit more of a feeling than you would with something nice and long with that mid-length gas system that's got a little bit more weight to it. But that is to be expected when it comes to something in this category. I did not run it with a suppressor because I didn't want to have to take their birdcage off and put a brake on it and do all that stuff. So I don't know how it runs suppressed. I know it's going to be a question because I put a couple suppressor videos out recently. So on to the price. Now this version as it sits here with the Maxim brace here, which is a pretty cool brace, like I said, just doesn't work for me. It's coming in right at about $1,500. For me, that's a little rich for my blood for a 5.56 pistol, kind of in this category. So it does have some good stuff on it. It's got a nicely upgraded kind of mil-spec-ish trigger, but we're paying a few $100s extra for the Maxim brace. So you've got to want it. When it comes to me, it's just not my thing. I don't like the Maxim brace enough to want to spend a couple of $100 extra on this specific version. They do have the other versions with the SBA3 braces, and it's literally like several $100s cheaper. If it were me and that was my money being spent, I would go with one of those because, like I said, you've really got to want this brace to spend the extra like $400 on this Edge pistol the way it is set up. So other than that, it performed, it looks good. If you are interested in one of these, it's definitely a cool little setup. I would just go with one that has a cheaper brace on it, and that's just me. That is what I've got for you guys today. I hope you guys liked learning about the Saint Edge pistol with that Maxim brace here. Make sure you guys get subbed up, get belled up, turn those notifications down there to all on. If you're looking to support the channel at all, huge thank you to my Patreons. You can join the Patreon or you can use any of those affiliate links below. Check out my website, tacticalconsiderations.com, and use any of the links over there. All that stuff is a huge help. And I thank you very much for everyone that has ever supported me or the channel or through those links or anything, or any of the companies that help out the channel. You guys get out there on the range, have some fun. Remember, if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. I will see you guys on the next one.